transitions for special needs students. We have transitional services that are helpful for children in special ed, students needing an IEP and their planning. And it's designed to help students with special needs gain their independence and transition well into adulthood. Both federally and by law, from 14 to the age of 22, they can stay in high school, and then they can graduate. They can postpone graduation until the age of 22. So when visualizing success going into college, into the real world for these students, we see transition services helping with that and their visions and developing their skills and independent skills for the real world and teaching them how to support themselves in the real world. Transitional services are important. They help that age range from 14 to 22 throughout high school, from freshman year through graduation, and specifically for students with special needs and their entrance into adulthood. It's important that the students sit down with the parents and the IEP team and discuss the developmental transitional plan and put that within the IEP. What skills does that student have? Those need to be addressed. What do they need to work on that will help transition? The high school team, before they set up the plan, they need to evaluate the student, test and see which skills need help. If there's assistive technology that needs needed, job preferences.
Hello, my name is Rosalie, and today we'll be discussing transition students and their rights. So today we'll be expanding on what that actually means for an individual in special education. So an individual with it's in special education will typically have an IEP, which is an individualized education plan. And that usually sets up goals for them on how to become an individual living in the real world.
We need specific bullet points within as the second step.
Here in Massachusetts, the services start around the age of 14 all the way up to 22 years of age. And that is when they are considered graduates of high school.
And thirdly, we need to plan to include goals. And that's the goal and how you measure them.
So maybe you're thinking about what their vision looks like for once they enter college and after high school. So during transition services, they actually help the individual progress and become more independent by giving them skills to enter the real world. But it also teaches, they also figure out a plan on how to advocate for that individual. So now again, you might ask, why is this important? So between the ages of 14 and 22, to the point that they graduate high school, during this time frame, it's extremely important that the student is developing and that their needs are being met. And really it's to prepare them for the adult world. So students might sit down with a team, including their parents and the school team, and they'll develop a plan that's part of the IEP. So the IEP is actually going to talk about any skills or any areas of academic process that they would need in order to improve. There would be an evaluation prior to starting the plan. So they would actually be testing their abilities, their technological skills, their behavioral skills, maybe even some of their job preferences or interests. And the student would actually set up those goals. Once the evaluation has been finished, then we're ready to move on to the transition plan. And there's three important parts of this.
At the top of
The first must include the student after they graduate, what their vision is, what outcomes they want to reach after they've graduated. We do want to make sure that they do have the proper services throughout the program. The second part is very specific to and details the individual, their needs, and also that's included in the IEP, and how to resolve any barriers that might come across, but how to improve their skill overall. And the third part that the plan includes is these measurable goals. Are these goals attainable? Are they getting closer to becoming independent and living an independent life? So they will definitely look at the overall success of the student. So the transition services will definitely look at the academic success and the independent living skills as well, as documented in the IEP. If it's not documented in the IEP, it's not necessarily guaranteed. If maybe you struggle with reading English or writing, and you're not sure how to move forward with gaining access to communication and such, you can speak with the special ed development planner. But most importantly, for the forms and all the paperwork, if you're still struggling with, you can actually go onto the website and look at the Department of Elementary or High School, and there's 16 different languages there that you can access. If you're going to go to a meeting, you must request an interpreter. And it's important to ask the school to write down, to send a written letter for request to make sure that you did ask and you have that proof that you requested an interpreter. And at the IEP, at the top of the IEP, that will be documented and sent off. And what's most important is that all the information related to the IEP and the student is actually presented in a way that's accessible to you in your language. So to find more information, you can go to our website at ld.org. You can find more pamphlets on that for parents, for students who want to receive transition services. Or if you have ideas and you're looking for what's available out there, you can definitely look at the guide that we have, and there's much information about the integral parts of the transition services and gaining independent living skills. Also for the student to be able to gain skills for how to operate independently in the community. There are also different links on the website and also videos as well from YouTube with legal information. For example, letters of correspondence, lawyer references, advocate information, parent-student resources. But definitely do take a look at that and get some information from our website. If you have any questions regarding transition services or any of the processes, need some legal counsel, you can reach the number at 1-800-872-9992 at the Disability Law Center in Boston, Massachusetts.
Both federal and legal will be discussed. These need to be addressed in an IEP.
The DLC will definitely support your rights throughout the process. Thank you.
It's important to include the student division of independently of being in college. And also the services provided for those transitions need to be included, specifically to support the visions of the individual with special needs. The services are provided for 14 to 22-year-olds, and that range from beginning of high school to graduation. The student with special needs to feel ready for adulthood, ready to enter the real world. It's important that that student sits down with his or her parents and the IEP team and discusses a developmental transition plan that includes that vision, those goals, and includes it in the IEP. It needs to include what the skills the student already has, what is needed to support that school, to support that student. So the school needs to evaluate that student. That's important. Test the ability, the skills that they have. See if they need assistive technology. Ask them what their basic interests are, their goals are, what their job preferences are. Once the evaluation is finished, you can go ahead and set up a transitional plan for that student. That needs to include 3 parts. The first being the student's vision for themselves after graduation. What do they want to do? What do they see themselves doing at the point of graduation from high school? The IEP also needs to include specific details of that individual. How to resolve any issues that may occur, how to develop strength for that student so that the goal can be reached. And the third part of the plan needs to include the goals itself and how to measure them. You need to be able to measure the success of the student through these goals, both at school and for the individual. So the goals need to be within a real world, living independently aspect and academically. The student needs to be able to see themselves in the real world, both academically and independently. And the school and IEP team's job is to help encourage, motivate, and provide realistic goals and the services needed to achieve those goals. Understand that if you don't speak English, the law requires, maybe if you don't understand the language being spoken in the meeting, that the law requires that you have access to the language, your language. So read through. On the website of Department of Elementary High School website, there's 16 different languages. So you can go to the meeting, and the school is required to provide an interpreter for those 16 languages. It's important that you ask in writing, requesting that you need an interpreter for the IEP meeting, and you need to ask in advance. At the top of the IEP, there's a name. That person's name is the one that you request the information of. It's important that the team makes sure that all of the information is provided in your language. And those can be found right here on this website. The articles are for the parents and for the students who want to transition and need the services to help. They provide resources and learning goal ideas, articles of information, lots of important areas of transition, different examples, social skill goals, how to live independently, just general information connected with the process of functioning in the real world and how to function socially within a community. And it can be provided in easy, everyday writing. It can also be provided on videotape, or there are videotapes and letters, lots of resources, full of information. Education advocates, lawyers, lots of things that would be very helpful in planning to transition your student into adulthood. That student is going to need lots of you and the student are going to need lots of support. And if you feel you need more, we have the number provided below on the bottom of your screen, and we can answer whatever questions you have. Lawyers are fully involved. They have lots of information that can help support you in your process. Thanks for watching.